More than a month has passed since SDSU released a scathing report about the county's COVID-19 hotel program, and now the county is finally responding. Board of Supervisors Chair Nathan Fletcher broke his silence about the review at an unrelated news conference last week. iNewsSource has been following this story. Joining us with more details is editor Mary Plummer. Thank you for joining us as always on Tuesday, Mary. First off, can you give our viewers a little bit of a background on the review's findings for people who may not know about this?
Yes, Carlos. So San Diego State released this independent review back in August. The county supervisors paid $140,000 to the university to essentially do an independent audit of this hotel program. The review was ordered days after our reporters uncovered major problems occurring in these hotels, problems you and I have been talking about, things like security issues, toddlers going without enough food to eat, even overdoses and a death by suicide. As a reminder, these hotels were set up as a last resort for people who needed to quarantine and had nowhere safe to stay. You know, many of the residents are homeless individuals or people who have disabilities or other special needs. These hotels were meant to be a safety net, but very sadly, because of the conditions and how poorly run they were, for a lot of folks, they really have turned into just a nightmare.
Yeah, it does not reflect well on the county. So after the initial silence, Mary, what did Supervisor Fletcher have to say?
So our reporter, Cody Delaney, caught up with Supervisor Fletcher at an unrelated press conference last week. Fletcher spoke out on the issue after several weeks of dodging our questions and our interview requests. His comments are the very first from any public official on the topic. He conceded that improvements are needed. We've got some tape from that exchange. Here's what Supervisor Fletcher had to say.
There's no lack of will in trying to tackle it. It's a very challenging and very difficult situation when you're confronting, again, you've got a global pandemic, you've got a critical shortage of available staffing, you have challenges of simultaneously that, along with everything else over the last 18 months we've had to confront. And I think we have to do a better job. And I acknowledge that and I admit that, and we are reviewing the results of that report and trying to figure out everything we can possibly implement to do better.
Mary, he acknowledges problems, concerns, big issues with this, but are any changes coming? Are they going to actually do anything?
So unfortunately, short on details. Supervisor Fletcher was quite short on details about what the county plans to do to improve services for people who are sheltering in these hotels. When we asked if the county is reconsidering the contract that it's got going right now with this problem contractor who's been running the quarantine hotels, Fletcher said they are assessing every legal option. It is worth noting here, Carlo, that the contract in question is big money. It's a big deal. It's a $30 million contract. To date, no county officials have said whether they plan to make any of the changes that were recommended by that San Diego State review that we mentioned here.
It's a big contract and it's a big situation. Hundreds of people will still need these services until the county's contract, the one you mentioned, expires at the end of the year. So what's next?
Those hundreds of people you mentioned are still living in the hotels, and we've seen no indication that any of the major problems have been fixed. On a brighter note, we have heard from some of the residents at the hotels that they've noticed a change in behavior from the staff, saying that staff interactions have improved some since our reporting brought these issues to light. But still a long way to go here. We don't yet know what steps the county will take as the end of this contract nears, coming up in just a couple months here.
Good seeing the iNewsSource investigation getting some results right away. Even just a little. We know that iNewsSource.org is going to stay on this. We look forward to hearing more from you on it. Mary Plummer, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Carlo.